Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into a really beautiful topic today, bridging the gap between some amazing historical role models and our everyday practical habits right at home. If you've ever struggled with getting chores done, or let's be real, if you're a parent trying to instill a sense of responsibility in your kids, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to look at how the simple act of helping out around the house is actually deeply rooted in building profound character.
To kick things off, our entire journey today is anchored on the extraordinarily high spiritual rank of mothers. We've probably all heard this famous hadith from Ibn Majah, right? But think about it. Jannah, paradise itself, is literally linked to how we treat and serve our moms. That means every single time we fold the laundry, wash a dish, or just tidy up without being asked, we aren't just checking off a chore. We're actually taking steps toward paradise by respecting our parents. It's huge.
So that leads us to a really big question, and this is for both the parents and the kids tuning in. How exactly do we take that ancient wisdom, those incredible stories of the early generations, and apply it to something as simple as doing our daily chores? How do we connect these grand, sweeping narratives of Islamic history to the messy reality of a teenager's bedroom or a kitchen sink piled high with dishes?
Section 1. Respecting our parents. You see, respecting our parents isn't just a nice idea. It's a fundamental pillar of how we practice our faith in our everyday lives. Islam gives us precise, practical guidelines to live by. We are taught to show respect to our parents by being truly helpful and kind to them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The best of you are those who have the best manners." And what does that mean for us? It means we listen, we obey, and we completely avoid being hurtful or rebellious. Good manners don't just start out in the world. They start right at home, in the living room and the kitchen, just by being a helpful, positive presence for our moms and dads.
Section 2. Anas, the ultimate helper.
To really wrap our heads around this concept of helpfulness, let's look at the ultimate role model for kids. If you want a blueprint for how helping out at home builds legendary character, you have to look at a child companion of the Prophet named Anas bin Malik. He is the absolute gold standard. At just 8 years old, Anas was brought to the Prophet by his mother, the pious companion Sulaim. She wanted him to learn great character from the absolute best example imaginable. So he spent an entire decade, 10 full years, constantly observing and assisting. This act of service, this whole childhood spent as a dedicated helper, proved to be a massive blessing, and not just for him, but for his family and ultimately for all Muslims, as he grew up to become a truly great scholar.
When we look at history, the defining narratives for Anas bin Malik are often labeled the helper and the servant. But listen, these weren't just titles. They were literal masterclasses in core values like observation, character, patience, and kindness. Anas didn't just passively do chores. Being a helper meant he was always in the room, actively soaking things in and learning. He developed patience and kindness precisely because he was serving someone else, putting their needs way before his own playful desires as a young boy.
And let's look at the staggering result of all that service. 2,286. Because he was such a dedicated helper, always present, always assisting, he had this unparalleled opportunity to see the Prophet's actions and listen to his speech constantly. That allowed Anas to observe and narrate 2,286 hadiths to guide us. To put that in perspective, that's the third highest total of any companion. His daily chores and assistance literally helped preserve the teachings of Islam for generations to come. How amazing is that?
Section 3. Helping out at home.
Now, obviously, we aren't living in Medina centuries ago, but the principles of building character through service, those haven't changed one bit. So I want to ask all the kids watching this explainer right now, how can you be just like Anas bin Malik when your parents ask for help around the house? When your mom asks you to set the table, or your dad asks you to help carry in the groceries? Do you drag your feet, or do you see it as an amazing chance to build your character?
Consider this really profound perspective. The hadith from Sahih Muslim says, purity, or cleanliness, is half of faith. Honestly, that changes everything. Think about what this means on a practical level. When you clean your room, when you help wipe down the kitchen table, or even when you just pick up your toys, you aren't just doing a boring chore. No, you are actively practicing half of your faith. You're literally turning a mundane, everyday task into an act of worship and spiritual purification.
And this all breaks down into very manageable everyday actions that can easily become beautiful habits. Step 1. Start by simply saying Bismillah before you do your chores. Step 2. Practice generosity by sharing your toys with your siblings. Step 3. Maintain that cleanliness in your room, embodying that half of faith we just talked about. And finally, Step 4. Show total obedience and respect to your parents. When we actively practice what we learn here,
Happiness and paradise are the ultimate rewards.
Section 4. Teaching values through stories.
Now, for the parents watching, you might be sitting there wondering how to actually keep this momentum going and reinforce these habits on a daily basis. Well, you really have two incredible teaching methods at your disposal. Grounding kids in historical biographies connects them directly to real Sahaba like Anas bin Malik, helping them grasp those unshakable foundational values. Meanwhile, on the flip side, using modern animations brings these lessons into a visual, interactive world that looks exactly like theirs. It shows them practical, modern-day applications of their faith in real time.
And the good news is there is some fantastic content out there doing exactly this. Shows like Lathan Lila or Mystery Bunch plays highly relatable characters right into everyday scenarios. These characters face the exact same struggles your kids do every single day, sharing with siblings, being asked to clean up, and choosing between being selfish or being helpful. These animations make the lessons incredibly practical, and they foster a really strong sense of Islamic identity and ethics in a way that's actually fun and engaging for them.
So, to summarize everything we've looked at in this explainer today, it all really comes down to adopting these good deeds. Leaving greed and selfishness behind and actively choosing to be kind, generous, honest, respectful, and overwhelmingly helpful to your parents, that is exactly what our faith asks of us. It's the direct path to peace in the home and ultimately, peace in the heart.
I want to leave you with this final thought. Look around your house right now. What is one small chore, just one simple act of service you can do today to be the ultimate helper for your parents? Grab that inspiration from the incredible life of Anas bin Malik. Remember that paradise literally lies at the feet of your mother, and go do something amazing for your family right now.